South Padre Island, where the water is warm and beer is cold. That's all that we needed to hear when Eric asked us to make the 22-hour trek down to Texas. There was no way we'd be stuck in Iowa for another spring break. Who's we, you ask? My best friend Eric, of course, a sunburnt redhead dreaming of a tan. Carly, she'd be my partner in crime. Her boyfriend Dylan, he'd be her partner in crime if you catch my drift. My boyfriend Blake, someone needed to rub sunscreen on my back. And everyone else would just be a good old time. Adam, Shannon, Tia and Brock, Jordan and Nick, Peyton and Jordan, Jordan and Jessica, and our friends Emily, Caitlin, the other Caitlin and her twin Connor, and Joe would also already be down there in our same hotel. With all these Iowa students, South Padre would be a home away from home. While other friends were spending hundreds going to Mexico or Panama City, we wanted something a little cheaper while still soaking up the sun with only the classiest of college students. In December, we found a hotel on Priceline that went for $135 a night, which was extremely cheap when divided between everyone involved. And for that $135 rate, we got a $17 wristband, which got us into our pool. And here we thought the pool came with the experience. Brand new towels every 4 days. Mind you, we only stayed 5. And our very own security guard protecting us from, well, we still aren't sure. We were sold. But the next thing we had to decide was how to get down there. $700 flights were out of the question. And though we all know how cheap cab rides in Iowa City can be, we really didn't want to take our chances of where we might end up. So the next step we took was looking into renting a car. But none of our fakes said we were 25, so we were stuck taking my classic, unair-conditioned Oldsmobile, and that was something I was okay with. Overall, I thought the trip went pretty well.
On the right side.
Absolutely, I hated it.
Really dreading the drive back.
I was pretty nervous at first, but everyone seemed to be organized and a good driver.
Falling asleep at the wheel, and you really don't know if you're going to crash or not.
We all maintained a pretty solid diet.
Oh, we had plenty of animal crackers and fruit snacks, and that was my diet for the next 22 hours. So,
Drank 2 Red Bulls. I don't know, McDonald's, Whataburger. Thank you, Whataburger.
I thought we had plenty of gas the whole time, barely had to stop.
And we drove here on fumes.
I think everyone would agree with me in saying it was a really good experience.
And it was one of the worst experiences of my life.
Absolutely would I do it again.
Never do it again. I don't want to do it again.
And then we arrived. I'll let Eric explain.
Here you see Coca-Cola Beach, which is ironic because very few people are actually drinking Coca-Cola. Here you see Cheetah Girl in her native habitat. By spinning around aimlessly in circles with this bat, she's hoping to attract guys that are even drunker than her. Nope, not yet. There we go. And here you see your typical sand pong game, played by your typical girl in her grandma's underwear. As you can see, South Padre is no place for the shy. South Padre can also be a source of fun for 12-year-olds, like this kid. This boy must have slipped right by our attentive security guard. And now you see him joined by your typical spring breakers, with their sunburns, beads, and no idea what their hand gestures mean. The girl in the back also helped herself to a pitcher of Kool-Aid moments before. Our pool was a hot spot as well, always a party. As you can see, people didn't quite know what to do with their hands if they weren't holding a drink. The pool got pretty crazy sometimes, so that's why there was a security guard, equipped with his very own flashlight for our protection.
You're probably wondering how much money we blew on the island. Well, the breakup goes a little something like this. The hotel for 4 nights and 5 days was $135 per person. Oh yeah, don't forget the $17 wristband needed to get into the pool. Breakfast was our only free meal of the day, and for lunch we snagged fruit from breakfast to avoid that expense. We were too occupied on the beach to care about a real lunch. We ate out almost every night, from Mexican to seafood, with an overwhelming total of about $75. And surprisingly enough, booze was just as much. Gas down and back was $85 per person. And last but not least, a $147 seatbelt ticket. That leaves us with a grand total of roughly $534 completely gone. But more importantly than the money I lost was what I learned for future spring break trips. Number 1. How to avoid creepy guys. Stay in groups of 8 or more. That way you're less likely to be chosen to take your top off.
Bring the action.
Girls wandering around aimlessly by themselves were usually the target of the male who wanted to see some boobies. Wearing a cheetah swimsuit and playing dizzy ball, which consists of drinking an entire beer, spinning around 10 times, and then trying to hit the crushed beer can with the bat, will attract the opposite sex and you will be creeped on. Just don't do it. Number 2. Bring more than 1 bottle of sunscreen because chances are you'll have a pasty redheaded friend who will forget his own. And while we did make it out of the island safely with only a few burnt shoulders and no drinking tickets, we were less than thrilled when, well, I'll let Carly explain.
We just left the island and we were driving through Texas, and all of a sudden Eden says, "Am I getting pulled over?" And like right before that, I threw my gum out the window, so I thought we may have been getting pulled over because I threw my gum out, and Eden thought maybe she was speeding. But then we got pulled over, and he said that the passengers in the back seat did not have their seat belts on, and I was kind of like surprised because in Iowa that's not a law, so it really never crossed my mind to do that. So he took us back to the police car and gave us tickets, and they were $147, and I'm pretty upset about it, but I hate Texas, so.
Which brings me to the third and most important thing I learned. Wear your seatbelt at all times, especially in the back seat. Otherwise, a police officer from Los Fresnos, population 5,000, will pull you over and he will give you a ticket. Worth it? Heck yes.